Some breaking news now, and Iran has announced it will execute a man it says helped the US assassinate its top general, Qassem Soleimani. A judiciary spokesman said an Iranian citizen gave information about Soleimani's whereabouts to the CIA and the Israeli intelligence agency Mossad. Soleimani was killed by a US drone strike in Iraq in January. For more on the story, let's bring in Zain Basravi, who is in Tehran. Zain, just remind our viewers of what happened to Soleimani. How do we get to this point?
Well, Kim, as you said, he was killed in a U.S. drone strike back in January, along with a senior Iraqi militia leader. Now, Soleimani was an incredibly popular military leader here in Iran, seen by many people in the country as sort of clean from a lot of the political problems that the domestic leadership had experienced. He was head of the elite Quds force responsible for the Revolutionary Guard's missions abroad, basically responsible for Iran's foreign military assets and their operations in places like Syria and places like Iraq. And he had been a pivotal leader in terms of bringing down the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, the fight with ISIL in Iraq and Syria as far as Iran and Iranian assets in the field were concerned. Now, in terms of the case that we're talking about today, this is the first we've really heard of this man. His name is Mahmoud Mousavi Majid, and it appears that he has been condemned by the Iranian government for espionage, on espionage charges. Now, espionage charges are something very feared here in Iran by Iranians and foreigners alike. It is a weapon that the government wields anytime it suspects someone of participating in activity that it deems inappropriate. So these are charges that are faced by many people very often. But one of the things we have to keep in mind with this execution verdict is that there isn't a great deal of transparency when it comes to anything that the judiciary does, specifically when it comes to espionage-related cases. So this is the first time we've heard of this man's name. Many journalists here have said that as well. There wasn't even public information about any ongoing cases into Soleimani's death, but they say that this gentleman had passed vital information about the Quds force and about Soleimani's movements, specifically to Israeli and American intelligence officials that helped in his targeted killing back in January. But we have to keep in mind that the judiciary in Iran has come under criticism by human rights organizations for not being transparent enough and not giving defendants the appropriate legal help that they need to defend themselves. So as we move forward with this, as this story moves forward, many people will be thinking that there's just not enough information about this case and about this man's execution. But nonetheless, the judiciary announcing today that they have sentenced him to death for involvement in the killing of General Qassem Soleimani.
Thank you for that update there, Zain Basravi, live from Tehran.